patient's own immune system is attacking the beta cells. Often some form of disease sets this off, like a virus, a cold, or a flu, and then the immune system begins to take offense and for some reason zeroes in on the cells that produce the insulin. So the key factory has been shut down. And when the key factory has been shut down, the door to the cell doesn't open and the glucose levels continue to rise. In this form of diabetes, that glucose will continue to rise and will actually cause death. Now, what happens with this glucose rising is that the body actually begins to starve. It's like being on a raft in the ocean with water that you cannot drink. So you die of thirst because the glucose cannot get into the cell. And so the cell now is running without glucose, with glucose just outside of the cell that can't get in, and it is producing and burning fat. And as it burns fat, it produces ketone bodies. And these ketone bodies are released into the blood, cause a very acid condition in the blood. And this is ultimately what causes the person to expire unless they have fluid, insulin, and glucose, or fluid and insulin primarily. The second form of diabetes is not related to insulin production. In general, those who have the non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus have plenty of insulin. But the insulin simply doesn't work. It's as if something has gone in and stuffed up the keyholes of the cell with fat so that the key can't get in. So the glucose is there, the insulin is there, but the insulin doesn't work, and it's called insulin resistance. We're now looking and realizing that insulin resistance is related not only to this form of diabetes, but is related to high blood pressure, it's related to high triglyceride levels, it's related to high cholesterol levels, it's related to heart disease. So insulin resistance, the same form of insulin resistance that causes diabetes, is also related to many high blood pressure states. The four symptoms of diabetes are polyuria, polydipsia. Polyuria means you're going to the bathroom a lot. Everybody knows that. Polydipsia, you're drinking a lot. That's the Latin for excessive drinking. Polyphagia, you're eating a lot. But since you're not storing your food, you are in a stage of weight loss. So those are your four symptoms. Passing a lot of water, drinking a lot of water, eating a lot, and losing weight. These four symptoms apply only to insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. The other form of diabetes mellitus, which is the non-insulin variety, has no symptoms. They simply have modestly or moderately or even significantly elevated blood glucose levels because they do not continue to elevate their glucose level, causing the diarrhea. How many of the diabetic population, or what percentage of the diabetic population do you think are the insulin-dependent variety or the non-insulin-dependent variety? What would you guess? The insulin-dependent variety constitutes only 10% of the diabetic population. The non-insulin-dependent variety, which is adult onset, is fully 90% of all those who have diabetes. Now, this is unfortunate because most of the public thinks of diabetes as a disease in which there's not enough insulin, correct? That is true for only 1 out of 10 diabetics. For 9 out of 10 diabetics, they not only have enough insulin, they have excessive amounts of insulin being produced by the pancreas. We do a C-peptide test on all of our diabetics, and the C-peptide is a measure of the amount of insulin that the body has been producing. Gives us an estimate. The normal range is between 1 and 3.5 or 4. We have diabetics who have a C-peptide of 12, meaning that they're producing 3 times the amount of insulin that is being produced by a normal individual. But they have diabetes because their insulin does not work. The individual who has the true insulin-dependent variety will have a C-peptide level of 0.3. So they have very low production of insulin. But the general awareness that diabetes results